Throw up your rock fist if you're feeling it when I drop this. Show 'em how we blow the spot. Let's make it hot. The shotgun with the body rock till the party.
I am the darkest of days. I'm the last one that's standing. Don't try to stand in my way, cause I've been up against better. Just take a look at my face. Cause if you're messing with me, I am a dangerous weapon. I am the sharpest of blades. I'll cut you down in a second. Cause I was born in this pain. It only hurts if you let it. So if you think you can take me, then you should go and forget it. And after all this time, you're back for more. I won't stop until they know my name. So I'll take what's mine and start this war. I'm coming at you like a tidal wave. When everything you know has come and gone, your lowest dying rising high, only scars remain.
I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Yeah, I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Yeah, love can hide, love be my baby. Love can hide, love be my baby. Now how could you do this to me? You always said you wanna be part of my family. You always said that you would love me forever and that you wouldn't change, but baby, never say never. Our life reverted to the past and it was changing for the better. You begged me to come back, but you know I wouldn't surrender. I wouldn't bow down to someone who would hurt me, someone who threw their life away, someone who would curse me. You never truly know him, walk a mile in his shoes. So why don't you join me, sing the goodbye blues? And next time you see me, it won't go your way, because there's only one thing left for me to say. I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Hey, yeah, I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Hey, yeah, love can hide, love be my baby. Love can hide, love be my baby. This way, we could have been happy, we could have stayed the same, but love can hide love and you turned away from the happiest in the future just to play your game. What happened to us? Why did it have to change? I thought we were perfect, we have to go our own ways. I have to face reality, I don't love you no more, and you're not the man I knew, that's what I know for sure. So go be happy, that's all I want for you, but what you do with your life is left for you to choose. Stop blaming the world for your own mistakes, and these words in my head I can't seem to shake. I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Hey, yeah, I don't wanna know your love no more. I don't wanna feel your lips no more. I don't wanna know your love no more. Hey, yeah, love can hide, love be my baby. Love can hide, love be my
Good name. Hey there guys, Gage here, rhythm guitarist of Zero Tolerance, and we got some great news for you guys. We finally have found ourselves a vocalist, and we got her right here. So, why don't you go ahead and first start off by just mentioning who you are, and we'll go ahead and get started with this.
Well, what I go by is Katani, but my name is Crystal Sanford, and I'm basically like his sister. I'm like their sister.
Very true information. While I'm bringing up the questions here, why don't you go ahead and basically give them a little, brief history of yourself, and like how you ended up kind of coming into this, and we'll probably start with some questions after that.
Okay. Well, I'm 23. I've been singing since I was about 3. And my grandma was a singer, my mom was a singer, my brother's a singer, rapper. And so the music thing's been basically in my family my whole entire life. And I went up on stage when I was about 8 years old, and I had a lot of stage fright. Until I heard the audience trying to clap and like bring me back onto stage and everything, and that just did it. That completely did it right there. And then I came out here to Illinois, and I completely stopped because I have 3 munchkins, and they completely took over my world completely. So I wasn't able to do the professional singing anymore. I wasn't able to do the dancing or the choreography or the stage or anything like that. So I found you guys. You guys asked me to be your vocalist, and I'm honored.
So, before we get into the main questions here, do you have like any previous music that you have done that that people can kind of look at to be able to know about yourself and who you are?
Yeah. You can go to YouTube. I'm actually on Vivo. And you can look up my song Love No More, which I wrote about 4 years ago. And it was released whenever I turned 21 on my 21st birthday. And so that's on there, and it's on, you can download it on MP3s, on iTunes, it's on Spotify, and everything like that. And it's just an amazing video.
So you've had quite an interesting musical career, even from an early age.
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into these questions here. And this is my first time doing an actual cheer interview like this, so if I do mess up, my apologies. So, what type of famous musicians would you probably admire the most, and why?
Oh my goodness. There's so many. Well, let's see, different genres. Let's go from that. Let's go from Beyonce to Shakira to Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, the big divas and stuff like that. Those are my main things because of how strong they are, how strong their vocals are and things like that. But then you can go to In This Moment with the screaming and the way that they actually describe themselves inside their music, the way that they produce themselves out and stuff like that. It's mind-blowing how they can show how they feel inside their music in ways that I can never do.
I actually quite agree. you know, like bands like In This Moment, like these powerful women that are kind of like out there and showing that they have the capability of doing something that general people think wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Since you were kind of early, like, into music, later on, did you do any type of like music schooling, or did you have any like music teacher mentors?
I did for a little bit. Pretty sure you won't want to be named. Love you though. But I did for a little bit whenever I started originally with doing katani, whenever I was 21 years old. And he gave me a little bit, you know, of instruction of sing from your diaphragm, stand up straight, make sure you feel good, you know, and everything. But other than him, I've been self-taught. I've taught myself since I was 3 years old, I would say.
That's completely awesome. I mean, I'm the same way with being a guitarist. You know, I first started playing at 6 years old, and, you know, just my dad only taught me like 4 chords, and everything else from there I just learned by ear. So it's really talented to be able to do something like that. What would you say your fondest musical memory is?
There's so many. That would probably be the night that I got to meet Blood on the dance floor. And we weren't on the same stage at the same time, but we shared that same stage. You know what I mean? We were performing that same exact night together. Or it was with Social Repos. But the main thing would definitely have to be meeting my fans. And it's incredible whenever they come running up to you, they're starstruck, you know, they're nervous and they're shaking and they're crying and happy and everything, which actually getting to meet you. And actually, I have a really good friend of mine now, her name is Deanna, and she actually met me at a bar. And she was so nervous to come up to me because she was starstruck. Like, I was like, why? I'm not that intimidating. I'm not that intimidating. She's like, you're just amazing. You're absolutely amazing.
So, like, for those that are not really like familiar with like a music career, especially probably even including myself, because you've reached a higher standpoint than we have, at least at the moment. What kind of advice would you kind of give to certain musicians at the moment that are trying to get started, but are kind of having their ups and downs? Like what would you probably say about that?
Never give up. Never give up your dreams. When I was younger, I tried out for American Idol, and they completely turned me down. And at that point, I just wanted to completely stop. I wanted to stop singing. I wanted to stop modeling. I wanted to completely end everything. But I never gave up. I kept going. I kept bettering myself, and I kept looking for something. And eventually, I found my old manager, and he became a big part of my life back then, and he made me into the woman I am today.
That's really awesome. More questions here. So kind of to go along with what you were just talking about, you know, not giving up on yourself and, you know, just continuously striving for, you know, what you believe in. How would you say that you handle certain mistakes that you catch yourself making during a performance or just like during practicing? Like how do you handle something like that?
Well, if you're up on stage and you make a mistake, you just keep going. Like, half of the time, if you show that you messed up, that's when people will catch it. If you don't show that you messed up, everybody is just going to be like, you know, oh, that was part of the act. You know what I mean? But if you mess up in practice, you continue to try to make yourself better until you succeed to do so. Like, I hit a really sharp note on stage once, and I was so embarrassed I thought everybody actually realized that. But afterwards, I just continued to sing my song, and afterwards I looked at everybody. I was like, "Did you guys hear that?" They're like, I'm like, cool.
Let's keep it that way. Like, yeah. So, would you say that yourself would be considered a bit of a music teacher?
A little bit, yeah. I've helped people with stage fright. I've helped them, you know, like, learn to sing from your diaphragm, to help them hit higher notes and give them, you know, teaching ways of different ways to help with your pitches, different ways to hold yourself up, different practices, and it's helped a couple of people. I know a couple of my friends back in Pennsylvania, they are now currently running around, running and singing, jumping and singing, and every time they call me, they're like, am I doing this right? I'm like, yeah, do it again. Do it again.
Just do it again. You'll get there. So like how would you like practice? Like what would be some like exercises or things like that you'd probably do or recommend for other people that are also practicing?
I would run my lines, do re, mi, fa, sol, go up and down, do random singing, jog and sing, jump up and down and sing to make it to where you control, the way that your voice goes. That way, if you're jumping and singing, your voice is going to sound like it's jumping and singing, but if you can do it right, it'll sound like it's supposed to. And it's just trying to do it over and over and over again, even whenever you're super, super tired. You just got to keep going until you get it right.
And this one's kind of like not on here, but it's, I'm pretty sure it's probably one that probably could be asked is, you say you're originally from PA?
Mm-hmm.
What ended up bringing you down here?
I met the love of my life down there in Pennsylvania at an event, and we ended up getting pregnant. And so I moved out here, and whenever I moved out here, it just completely changed my whole entire life, and actually a lot happier than I was back in Pennsylvania.
So you're saying that it affected you in a positive way?
Definitely in a positive way.
That is awesome. How would you say that you balance your music with other obligations, whether it's, whether it be another job, your boyfriend, kids, like, how do you work around all of that when you're also trying to do music?
If it comes to my kids, I try to bring my kids into it. I try to get them to sing with me, to dance with mommy. With the boyfriend situation, he supports me in everything that I do, whether it's doing makeup to singing to modeling. He supports me in everything. Job currently, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, other than being a singer in you guys' band, which I cannot wait to get started with. But other than that, it's just trying to get everybody else involved in what I do, and it just makes it flow a lot easier.
That's really cool. Let's kind of like ask this one, since you kind of accepted and being a vocalist for Zero Tolerance. Would you say that it took you a little bit to kind of think about it, and then at that, what kind of gave you the full push and that you kind of wanted to be a part of that?
Well, I had to think about it for a little bit, because I just moved up here about a year and a half ago, and it was me just coming out of the situation of being Patani back in Pennsylvania, and it was difficult, and so I had to think about it for a little bit, and I was 50-50, but then I realized that singing isn't something that I want to give up on. And I've been wanting to be in a band since I was about 12, so.
So you've wanted to do more than just be a solo artist?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in a band.
Other than a vocalist, would you say that you have any other type of like instruments or professions that you do have besides being like a vocalist?
I tried playing guitar whenever I was younger, but it was never my guitar, so I was never able to pick it up, so I'm hoping you're able to.
I can definitely help you with that. It can be very
Consuming?
It can be. But the right word I'm trying to think is like it makes you not necessarily nervous, but it frightens you at first when you see it, because then you see all these other players and they're either they're shredding or they're doing these massive solos or they're playing these chords that you're by God or thinking was crafted by an alien or something. But it's just all a matter, which is probably what goes the same along with being a vocalist, is that if you just keep working at it, then you'll kind of get there and get the hang of it. what would be the first song or the first tune you ever learned?
Oh my god. That would be Where the Boys Are. It was one of those old country songs. But I can't remember who sings that song, which I'm so disappointed. I'm so sorry for my mom because she's gonna beat me later. But my first word was actually Connie for Connie Francis, like one of those old school country singers.
Okay.
And my mom was so mad. She was like, "Oh, sure, it's not Mom, it's Connie." Connie. She's like, "Well, great, she's gonna be a singer." That was it. That was it.
So besides artists that you have mentioned, like, you know, In This Moment, Beyonce, and all that, what famous musician or musicians would you say that you've learned from the most?
Oh my. Honestly, I would have to say, wow, there's been so many, but honestly, in the beginning, it was Patsy Cline. She shows like a way that you can control your voice, the vibrato in your voice, that quiver, you know what I mean? And the way to give the soul into it. A lot of the old country singers was my first main thing, which whenever I was younger, I was like, yay, country! You know, I was like, let's do country music. And I was like, that's the most country.
So you're saying that you definitely at least have like involved in like your music styles that you.
Oh yeah, I
to.
can sing basically anything from opera to rock to R&B to country to techno type stuff.
So would you say that with all the different genres that you're into, you're still even today like into those genres and would still like sing along or play with them?
Oh, definitely. I still listen to everything. It just depends on the mood of the day. It's basically it.
I guess it's kind of difficult when like singing when you're probably like playing something heavy when somebody's just pissing you off or your kids are messing with you the most and you're just like.
And then there's days I'm gonna just relax and I listen to like some really soft soul music. And then there's days where like I'm gonna shake my butt, let's listen to some R&B.
So here's more of like I guess I don't know if I'd necessarily say a technical question, but it's more based on personal opinion. How would you feel like is changing with physical media kind of more going toward the digital era? Or would you say that you still would wish that things would be like physical? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it should be mostly like more old school than what they're trying to do it today. Like the way that it used to be back in the day, it was more simple. You know what I mean? And it all came from the heart, from the way that it used to be. And now they're trying to get into like this weird kind of style. And in my opinion, the old ways are the best ways. But then again, there are some new genres of music where it's better new. So it's a little difficult, in that kind of retrospect. But I'm kind of 50-50 in that, It's like...
I mean, I personally, I still love, physical media, and I'm still having a hard time adapting to the whole digital, phase of music. So I'm like that type of person that has 150 physical CDs just stashed away, because I just, with physical media, it's easier to hold on to, and it's easier for it to not get stolen from
Exactly.
you.
That's why it's old school style. Let's go.
Whereas with digital media, everybody nowadays, I mean, if they don't want to pay for it, they can easily just pirate it.
Yeah.
There's always a way. Would you say that being a musician, have you tried to be into any type of competitions, and have you won any prizes from them?
I have. I was in a couple of talent shows way back there whenever I was younger. And I won 3rd place, and I got a year's supply of movie tickets. And then I was in Teen Idol, and I got 3rd place. Always sing it. No matter what, I always sing it first. But I got this modeling gig or something like that. And then I tried out for American Idol, and they turned me down. They straight up turned me down because of the vibrato in my voice. That quiver in my voice, they were like, oh honey, you're nervous. I'm like,
what?
excuse me? I'm saying in front of more people that are here right now. Not nervous, but thanks. Bye.
It almost makes me, although I mean this artist ended up making slightly further through, but he got turned down eventually, and he still became a great artist, which I'm talking about Chris Daughtry. Which I mean, it's just one of those things where it's as it goes along with what you're saying before. Even if you get like turned down or something, you don't give up. If you still want to go for it, then go for it. Let's see. Would you say that you were influenced, in which you did say stuff about, like older country and all that. Would you say that during your, younger years that your mom or family member would actually have like an old record or an old tape that you would, like to put in and just, listen to because you were curious of what it sounded like?
Oh, yeah. My pap used to do that all the time. He would have his records out and he'd just be like, let's do this. I'm like, oh,
it's like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's listen.
It's apple juice, I swear.
Totally apple juice. With a kick.
And like this question obviously went along with what you already ended up saying about getting nervous during competitions. Do you attend any type of like sessions, or what makes like a good session, if you know what I mean?
My sessions.
We'll probably worry about that question later. Let's see. How often or how long do you think it is kind of the best to practice? Like, how long do you think is an acceptable time to practice, whether no matter what instrument? And yeah.
I would say probably about an hour to 2 hours is good for practice, because then you're not overworking yourself, but you're not underworking yourself. It's good to practice for that meaning amount of time, because then it gets stuck in your head. You know what you've been doing. You can, keep remembering that, and go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again and still remember what you did that day. But it's not too much where you're overworking yourself and you're too tired to do the next day.
That actually does make a lot of sense. Let's see, what other questions? Did you play for any like dances, step dancers? Like, describe the difference.
When I was very young, I was about, I would say 7, 8 years old. I was in a little dance class, and it definitely helped, with later on with, like going on stage and doing all that type of work up on stage. I was a very fast learner, and it was like a really good experience, you know what I mean? Because it helps with your stamina, it helps with what you do on stage, it helps with your physical and mental appearance, and it makes learning a lot more dances later on down the line a lot easier.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's try and get into some questions that are kind of like not related, necessarily music related, just more to get know about, you and, other interests that you're in. What are your, other than singing or doing any kind of like teaching, what are your kind of hobbies that you kind of do?
Drawing and modeling. Those are definitely two of my favorite things. I haven't modeled in years, but I just recently came upon an opportunity to start up with that again. So that's actually a really cool thing. And then I draw like my tattoos and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then makeup.
And then makeup.
Every girl's, thing.
Hi. Let's see. So the modeling thing is something we can probably expect to kind of see maybe later on in the future.
I'm hoping so.
And then you said like with your drawing, do you probably plan on incorporating the drawing into anything related into ZT, or like how do you plan on incorporating that if you decided to?
I was planning on actually talking to the band about logos, like drawing up logos or album covers or different art for inside like our CDs and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. Or even like doing art on our bodies, you know what I mean? Like music videos and stuff like that, doing makeup and stuff like that. I think those are pretty cool.
Huh. That is actually sounds really awesome, and I cannot wait to see stuff like that. I mean, I've already seen some of this girls, like some of this, I've seen some of her art already, and it is beyond fabulous, so definitely good with that. That is actually proven fact. The tattoo that is on her arm, she ended up drawing up herself. Let's see, what other questions can we come up with here?
Oh boy, here we go.
So we mentioned hobbies. We kind of know about who you are. You said that you had the song "Love No More." Tell us a little bit more about that song.
Oh god. Okay, here we go. Well, with Love No More, I went through a really, really bad breakup. And he cheated on me with somebody I was very close to.
Them sons of bitches.
And lied to me about it for a while. I had to find out from my friend. But he completely broke my heart. And he changed his personality completely. And he just completely made it to where I didn't want to know who he was. I didn't want to know about anything that he was doing or why he did that to me. So I just sat down after I broke up with him and I wrote a song about it. And it turned out way better than I ever would have thought it would.
So, other than Love No More, is there like any other music by yourself that anyone knows about, or is Love No More the only song?
There is a Facebook video actually that went viral for a little bit. It has like 27,000 views on it or something like that. I don't know. But I wrote that a long time ago, and my brother looked at me and he said, we're gonna post this to Facebook. I said, we're not. No, we're not. It's not completely finished yet. I haven't done tweaking to it or nothing. We're gonna post it to Facebook, and it just went viral.
So it's more just like a rough draft.
Yeah, it was a really rough draft, especially because I messed up the second verse and just repeated the first one. I was so upset with myself.
Oh no. Let's see.
And yeah, that's one of my munchkins you guys saw in the background. Apologize.
So then, all of your music, did you write it yourself?
Yes. Most of the stuff that hasn't come out, which you probably will not see because I left all of that back in my old life in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Most of those, though, I did not write, but there are a couple that I did write. And now that I think about it, there is a song out there that there is another singer that is singing the song, and he's on YouTube too.
Huh. That's interesting. So would you say that you have any like kind of professional contacts in the music business?
I have a couple. I have a couple back in Pennsylvania. I have one with Brutal Business. He is a music producer, and he's a really hardcore rapper back in PA. And then I have my old manager, which is Give Sound, which is Incorporated. And I have another buddy out in California, but I can't even remember what he goes by anymore. It was a long time ago.
That's pretty cool. Now this one I'm kind of gonna ask you to kind of, in a way, critique yourself with this question. How would you kind of rate your live performance ability?
My live performance ability, I would say about a 7 to 8. Because there's always room for improvement. Always. I mean, I'm a mama 3. I can't do half the shit that I used to be able to do. I've run out of breath real easy. But I would say about a 7 to 8 because I am pretty good, but I'm not the best that I could be.
There's always room for improvement no matter what you're doing. Let's see. Have you had any previous print or broadcast media exposure?
I had a radio interview, and he was from, oh my god, what was he from? I can't remember exactly where his radio station was from, but it was a phone interview, and that was pretty cool. That's on YouTube as well if you look up my name. And then I had one from Pittsburgh. She gave me an interview, and she was pretty awesome. But other than that, it was really old, you know, I was a kid. I was on like 96.1 Kiss FM for a little bit, for a few seconds, but there wasn't really nothing huge.